Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Dark Souls 2 DLC, Crown of the Old Iron King. Blind playthrough, but with a little footnote underneath it. This is not, in fact, live commentary, because I had a crash in Audacity, and I lost the original one. So this is part 22, entitled Lighting a Match, and this is the only video of the entire playthrough that is going to be edited to the extent where I've removed a little bit at the beginning because I was doing quite a lot of talking which you cannot hear, so it's just me stood there, and then I came into here with a katana after I told you my reasonings to swapping to a katana because I felt more comfortable with them, and I was all rested up after the insane sleep deprivation adventure of the other day, and I came in here and I fought the Fume Knight. And it sucks that I lost it, but there's nothing I can do with that kind of thing. You can't recover those, you can't plan for those, they just kind of sometimes occasionally happen. And for all the hundreds of times I've used Audacity, I've never had it crash that often, so I am pretty grateful that it only does it very sporadically. But what has changed? Well, I'm not too sure what the last video you watched, but undoubtedly it was me getting beaten up again by the Fume Knight. Because this guy's really tough, and he hurts. He hurts, he's got a lot of range, he's got a lot of speed, and he punishes you mercilessly at times, and it takes some sorting out, especially on the higher new game cycles, because it's just elongating the fight. So I put the slumbering Dragon Crest shield on my back to give me that extra stamina regen. Stamina here is probably the most important it's ever been, second only to the Sir Alone fight, but Sir Alone's tracking and his arcs are nowhere near as wide as this guy's, which makes him considerably easier. You'll also notice that I've got a slightly different outfit to the Dark Wraith top that I've been wearing, just to drop a little weight. I've done this so I get more distance on the roll, so I can get out of the way of them a little bit better. A lot of the times it's placebo effect, but sometimes it can actually have an effect. And then I'm using a dark Uchi katana, and you might be wondering, well Chris, why are you using a dark one? And it's because I only have a plus 10 one and a dark one, and the plus 10 one, because I'm not a dex build, doesn't scale so well. So in spite of the fact I don't really have that many elemental abilities, the dark one is the strongest one I have, and I tried the Manslayer in the session. I decided to put this one on. I am a big fan of the Uchi, I don't know why, there's just something minimalist about it. And then here we have the fight, anyhow. But before this, and before I went to bed, after I'd, slept a few hours the other day, and I woke up and I still felt kind of shitty. And I say the other day, this is day one of the DLC, guys. It's now, we're in September, so you can tell it's been some time. So anybody who's watching this and being like, oh, I hope he beats it, don't give up, Chris, and stuff like this. Dudes, it's already done. It's already long since happened. And I don't give up. The DLC gets beaten, I beat all the bosses, and I share my thoughts, I share my struggles, and it seems like a lot of people are really enjoying it. I don't think there's been as much rage this time, thanks to the weather, and there's not been as many people complaining about me complaining, which is the new meta, and I don't know, I think it's doing quite well. I'm happy with the result. But as I was saying before I got derailed, I woke up after sleeping for about 2 hours because my girlfriend came, and I spent some time with my girlfriend, had a lot of fun with her. She kind of rejuvenates me, it's what she does, she's amazing like that. And I was in that twilight of, I felt so shit I wanted to sleep, but I wanted to be able to sleep at night. So I forced myself to stay up, felt kind of crappy, mainlined some coffee, and I played a little bit of the DLC, but what I did is I ran around in areas we'd already traversed before we came here, trying to look for the last wedge. Because the warmth that is healing this dude is obviously a problem, you've seen it be a problem, and it's one of those things where, it makes the fight much harder than it needs to be. And I looked everywhere, guys, I looked absolutely everywhere. I even found a Nadalia soul, but I did not find a wedge. And now in retrospect I know there's only one wedge left in my world, and I get it for beating this boss, which is essentially a really harsh lesson to learn, but a lesson nonetheless. And to avoid it, all you need to do is not waste some of the wedges on some of the external areas that could be perceived as being optional, a la the Majestic Greatsword room, the dark room full of curse where there's fuck all in it except for those whip guys and the standard enemies. You can save a few of them and it'll definitely benefit you here. The problem is, how were you really meant to know that you should have saved them? It's one of those things where, regardless of how much preparation you make, it's just one of those things you either kind of saw coming or you didn't. And I think a lot of us just didn't see it coming, and it's just, you know, you just deal with it, as I have here, as many people have as well. And I think the key to this fight is learning when to go under that big slash. And you'll notice if you watch my New Game Plus 5, no damage, Vanquisher Seal fight against this enemy, that punishing that is pretty much the best way to fight him, because it gives you the most opportunities to hit him. And somebody left a funny comment saying they thought they'd see me smash this guy because of that video I put up. And it's the complete opposite. Because of what you've just witnessed, because of that said struggle, that is the reason why I was able to smash him with the Vanquisher Seal. Because when I came back here the day after this to start recording a more fancy fight so I could put it up as a teaser for what was coming, I got that in under 20 minutes because I'd been bummed for so long. And that's the thing with Dark Souls, guys. Dying and failing have this negative connotation in games, and I don't think they really have to have that. I don't think there's anything innately negative about that period of losing until you learn how not to lose. I think it's the most endearing part, and judging by a lot of the comments I've got, you're all really enjoying it. Because watching the victory is all good and well, you know it's coming, but the moments beforehand you're never quite sure, so there's always that excitement of, will it win, will it work, will he fail, and that's the true magic. And in those moments you learn so much more than you ever do in victory, and it's one of those things that can be very difficult to fully appreciate unless you've been there. So I once again apologise for losing the live commentary. Just so you know, I was rather happy. I may have cursed him out a little bit, said some harsh things, but I love him in the end. And hopefully now we can move on with the rest of the DLC. Everything from this point onwards will be live. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of the journey, and you take care now.